So the micro and mini max podiums have just been carried out thanks to Andreas Matis just a moment ago, and we now get on to the remaining 5 races of what is the season finale of the Rotax Max Challenge Clubsport season here at Kerpen. And we now have the first of 2 junior max races. This time it is the club race itself with Dennis Thiem and Variato Wildeman on the front row. That's 269 and 232. Nevio Fischer in the 253 will line up alongside Phil Vogel in the 252 on row number 2 itself. Finn Stiak and Alexander Kappa in the 234 and the 299 respectively. That completes the top 3 rows. And rounding out the top 10, it is the 233 of Janne Stiak, the 231 of Finn Gruber, the number 254 of Lionel Langlolds, and also Luigi Gazor in the 286. Completing the 15 strong will be Maxime Blöscher in the 255, the 277 of Jake Besselbeck, the 277 of Jake Besselbeck, the 235 of Jonny Mertz, the 258 of Gregor Feigenspan, and the 265 of Mats Johan Overhoff. So 15 drivers now circulating as the 2 runners at the front, Thiem and Wildeman, will start to control the pace. But there is one driver making their way and is actually ahead of everybody and might not be in the right position for the grid. Now that is Variato Wildeman, who's been waiting for people to catch up. So Wildeman will have to go into position and let Dennis Thiem alongside. No, Wildeman has a problem, a technical problem for the 232. So already we are down to 14 drivers as Wildeman will not start the last race of the season. We go racing, do we this time? The timer has started ticking away, so Thiem gets a bit of a head start on the rest of the field as it's 3 abreast and someone goes very sideways. That was the 299 of Alexander Kappa going very sideways, skirting around the outside of turn 2 as the field now makes its way through turn 4 before they get to the double S's on the far side of the circuit. So Dennis Thiem leads and has got quite a considerable margin between the driver in second position, who is the number 253 of Nevio Fischer. And then bumping over the curbs behind him, 3rd and 4th place, this is respectively Finn Stiak and Phil Vogel. But we'll just keep an eye on what the running order is, as there's definitely a change for position as someone sent it around the outside of turn 1. So Maxime Blöscher rounds out the 14 as Variato Wildeman will not be very happy about retiring even before the start. Knew there was a problem, so that might have been before the formation of the rolling start got underway. So drivers making up positions include Lionel Langlotz up into P7 ahead of Gregor Feigenspan, who started on the back row. So we've got 9 minutes and 21 seconds to go, plus an additional lap, as Dennis Thiem has a lead of 1.5 seconds. As a little bit further down the order, we have Finn Gruber and, well, it looks like it was Gregor Feigenspan and Lionel Langlotz that have both got past Finn Gruber for 6th and 7th, respectively. But the battle is clearly on for second place at the moment between Fischer and Stiak. That's Finn Stiak in the 234 as they go through the S-bends on the far side of the circuit. Down the back straight they blast as it's getting to be now what looks to be becoming a 4-way scrap for second position. Getting a little bit darker in the skies overhead as at the moment Dennis Thiem just running away and trying to get as far away from the rest of the opposition as possible. So Thiem leads from Fischer, Finn Stiak, Phil Vogel, Janne Stiak, as Finchdiak gets a bit closer to Nevio Fischer in the braking zone into turn 2 as they sweep their way into the fast left-hander at turn 3. So Mats Johan Overhoff, who also, along with Gregor Feigenspan, started on the back part of the field, or literally the last rows. They're both in 8th and 6th respectively, so Overhoff definitely getting a move on, as is Feigenspan. So Dennis Thiem's lead was just over 1.5 seconds. It was cut down to just under 1.4. But now with the way that Fischer, Stiak, Vogel and Janis Stiak are trying to chase down the leader, best lap time of the moment, and the only driver, well, there are several drivers that have gone sub 49 seconds, and that includes the two battling on the screen for those watching at home between Nevio Fischer and Finn Stiak. Phil Vogel definitely coming under attack from Janis Stiak in the battle for 4th position. Maxime Blöscher gets past Jake Besselbeck in the 277 for what is 13th position on the road. As I've just seen that Variato Wilderman is back out on circuit, but is 2 laps off of the leaders, well actually the entire field. So Dennis Thiem running at around about a 48.9, but Finn Stiak, who is closing on the back bumper once again of Nevio Fischer for 2nd position. Stiak tries to go up the inside, but Fischer closes off the door quite neatly through the inside apex of turn number 2. This is bringing Phil Vogel and Janis Stiak into the mix quite considerably now. They are concertinaing between 2nd and 5th position. But Dennis Thiem has a lead of around 1.176 seconds between himself and Nevio Fischer, as Janis Stiak looking a bit racy behind Phil Vogel as they go through the Schumacher chicane. But Dennis Thiem just continuing to just lead away. Maxime Blöscher has now got past Luigi Gazzo for 12th position, as there's definitely some drivers trying to look to use the momentum through turn number 1 to get them on the inside run into turn 2. As looks like there's been a change there. Finn Stiak up the inside of Nevio Fischer around the other side of the circuit. That looked to be, I think, probably about turn 4 that Finn Stiak made the move stick and took the position cleanly away from Nevio Fischer. So Fischer now back on the offensive. He's not being hunted. He's now the hunter. But it's also allowing the likes of Phil Vogel, who closes up, as does Janis Stiak. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th definitely having a bit more to say between themselves, let alone the leader, who's got a gap now of 1.6 seconds. So Dennis Thiem definitely making quick his escape as we get to just under 5 minutes plus an additional lap left to go. As I've just seen Maxime Blöscher cross the line in 12th position. So Finn Stiak doing a great job trying to now see if over the next 4 minutes and 40 seconds plus an additional lap to try and close on the leader. But the leader is, Dennis Thiem, is just thinking, I've got to just run my own race. So just got to keep it nice and composed. Gets the head down for the aerodynamic benefit over the front Nassau plate. And now extends the gap and puts in the fastest lap of the race, a 48.180 as Nevio Fischer now coming under close scrutiny from Phil Vogel and also Janis Stiak. As Finn Stiak now trying to get away, and that was a great move. That was Phil Vogel up the inside of Nevio Fischer, who's now demoted down into P4 with around 4 minutes remaining through the very fast left-hander at turn 4. Leaders now coming back down as Thiem already through the left-hand approach to the Schumacher chicane. And in the meantime, Finn Stiak also has started to break away now, as there's a bit of tussling between Janis Stiak and also Nevio Fischer. That's for 4th place on the road. And if Fischer's not careful, Janis Stiak could send a move up the inside. But then here comes Gregor Feigenspan. So Feigenspan now muscling his way through up and goes up the inside. Nice move on the inside of Janis Diak through turn 4. Goes Gregor Feigenspan in the 2:58, so another positional change. And that is now the top 6. So Thiem now leads and continues to do so ahead of the 2:34 of Finn Stiak, the 2:52 of Phil Vogel, the number 2:53 of Nevio Fischer still stays in 4th place at the moment, but it just depends on how much longer, because Gregor Feigenspan has just gone nearly 0.3 of a second quicker, and the lap before, Feigenspan actually put in the fastest lap of the race of 47.907. Only driver to do so, goes sub 48 in this race. So 2 minutes and 29 plus an additional lap. Still plenty of things to be decided as Feigenspan really on the back bumper of Nevio Fischer for 4th place, and might have a chance maybe on the next lap through turns 1 and 2. Might not be on this lap, might be on the next one as we go into around about the final 2 minutes. So Dennis Thiem now has a gap of, it was 1.9 seconds, it's now 2.169, head of Finn Stiak. Phil Vogel still in 3rd place. Luigi Gazzo looks to have been decided to retire on lap number 11 of this race. So Variato Wildemann, I think, looks to be still circulating as the 2:35 of Finn Gruber goes across the line in 11th position, as Johnny Mertz now goes into P10. It looks like there might be a yellow. Well, we have got an issue because there is one driver that is definitely not taking any further participation in this race. That could be Luigi Gazzo, I think. Not too sure, or even Finn Gruber. But Wildemann still circulating. Now goes on to his 10th lap of the race as we are into the last 70 seconds plus an additional lap of the season. So Dennis Thiem has got past Wildemann, as there's definitely a lot of changes happening, because right now Bezelbeck had to get out of the way because of blue flags. So that could allow the likes of Feigenspan, Fischer, Vogel and Finn Stiak to maybe have a chance at securing at least a top 10 finish. But with the way things are going at the moment, Janis Stiak has now passed Gregor Feigenspan for position. 40 seconds remaining on the clock, plus an additional lap. Blue flag still being waved on the left-hander approach to the Schumacher chicane. But it is not over yet. Now Nevio Fischer definitely trying to get past Wildemann, who is now a back marker, and now says, guys, just get past me, please. I don't want to hold you up, because obviously if that happens, he gets a penalty. So Dennis Thiem will very shortly start making his way. He's definitely a country mile ahead of Finn Stiak and Phil Vogel, who now round out the top 3. They're now battling over 2nd position in the final race of the season. Time has now expired. We're now on to the penultimate lap, as Thiem just calmly gets on with business and now heads through the Schumacher chicane for the penultimate time. This time around, the 2:69 will get the final lap board. But the battle for second still rages on, and then you look at the battle between 4th, 5th and 6th place. So Finn Stiak versus Phil Vogel in the battle for 2nd position. So Vogel doesn't have an answer. Fischer definitely on the defensive as Feigenspan tries to send it up the inside of Janis Stiak, but then has to back out of it because I think he just went in a bit too hot there in the corner. So Finn Gruber looks to be, along with Luigi Gazzo, the only 2 retirements of this race, or probably might still be circulating. But we're on the final lap now through the left-hander approach to the Schumacher chicane. For the final time this season comes the number 269 of Dennis Thiem. Checkered flag being prepared, and it waves through him. He takes the victory here in Kerpen, and by just literally a cart length, Finn Stiak takes 2nd ahead of Phil Vogel, with Nevio Fischer, who was trying to keep ahead of everyone, managed to stay in 4th place at the end ahead of Janis Stiak, who came under a last-moment attempt through turn 2 on the final lap from Gregor Feigenspan, who ends up 6th at the end of that one. Lionel Langlotz ends up in 7th place ahead of Mats Johan Overhoff in the 265, with Alexander Kappa in the 299 and Jonny Mertz in the 235, rounding out the top 10. Maxime Blöscher, Jake Besselbeck and Variato Wilderman all completed the race, with Besselbeck 1 lap off of the leaders, Wilderman 3 laps off the leaders, with Finn Gruber and Luigi Gazzo rounding out the 2 retirements. So 13 out of the 15 drivers completed the race, but rounding off the season in style with a victory in the Junior Club Sport race, it is Dennis Thiem in the 269.